The views, opinions, and reputations expressed on the K-Ghost Radio Network and its website are those of the host, guest, and participants, and they are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcast, management, or advertisers of the network. The show is found under LGA Broadcasting Network. UFO Talk Radio can, but does not necessarily promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and they are not intended to treat or diagnose and/or claim to cure any disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. All music is purchased and owned by LGA Broadcasting.
I got the windows rolled down, got the radio up, and I'm heading out of Vegas tonight. And it's 1:30 on a 4-day run, and the desert is a welcome sight. I can see you there in that dress you wear, and it's keeping my foot on the gas. I'll drink a gallon of Joe just to make it back home and hold you in my arms at last. There's a full moon shining, lighting up the highway like a beacon to you.
You're listening to Glenn Leary on UFO Talk Radio from the LGA Broadcasting Networks. From deep in the desert of Nevada, broadcasting to the world, it's the Glenn Leary Show. Are you ready? What you are about to experience to the world is real. Right along with us. From deep in the desert of Nevada, the Glenn Leary Show.
And I am here, everybody. I do welcome you. All my friends out there on Radio Land, of course, whatever time zone you might be in, to all my ham operators out there, Worldwide Radio Club out there, I'd say hello to you. K6RCL in Goleta. Dennis, how you doing out there? And to all the night drivers out there driving and listening to the show, my radio affiliates, on the broadcasters, the low power FM and AM stations, we thank you so very much. To all my folks on YouTube, Facebook, friends that like us and subscribe to us, please. It helps us out. To all the podcasters, we thank you for carrying the show. How kind are you? Yes, we're heard all over the world. And I've heard good things from other podcasters. This is a kind of a fun thing today. We live in this age of broadcasting and all the new cool stuff happening. Whatever time zone you might be in and listening to, we do thank you very much. And to Barbara and Neil over there in London, England, and Ken over there and Dee in Florida, Randy, of course, in PA. He's on vacation, by the way. Don't tell anybody. Chief's out there, Chief Harvey Hall, nice guy. Beautiful person, man. Thank you so much for your help. And my buddy Fran, get well. Fran Sullivan, man, incredible radio personality, radio guy. He has a new show, an Italian American show. You're gonna love it when it comes out. You're gonna love it. It's really pretty cool, and he's getting well, getting better. We all gotta get better to do our radio show, of course. And Sean over there in Sandy Valley that did the K-Ghost sign back here. He's an unbelievable artist. Sean Ely, you might look him up. He's in a lot of magazines. He's done a lot of motocross stuff back in the day. And yeah, a dear friend of mine, and God bless his soul. I thank him for helping us out here at beautiful K-Ghost Radio here in downtown Good Springs. I'll tell you, deep in the desert of Nevada. I love radio. What can I say? We're going to have a special guest on tonight. I told you about him. He's known as David in his real life, Quigley, but his real identity, which is, he has a book out called Stolen Identity. And I'm telling you, I'm just my jaw dropped to the floor. When I heard the story, read some things about him, and watched a lot of shows about him. And the gentleman is sincere. He's real. I tend to believe, I'm sorry if you do, you'll see, you'll understand. You can get the book. It's called Stolen Identity. His name is John F. Kennedy Jr. His real name, his real identity is John F. Kennedy Jr. And I know the Kennedy that you used to know, and we all knew, but no, there's more to it than that. You ever heard of doubles? You ever heard of people being taken in place and placed somewhere else? Now, I mean, things happen. This is the real world we live in with our government, by the way. And believe it or not, is it a conspiracy or what may it be? Well, I'll tell you. This book is very interesting. You get a chance, get the book, Stolen Identity, The Real John F. Kennedy Jr. We're going to get him on the line here. Stand by. John, are you with us, sir?
I sure am, Larry, and I thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Well, it's a pleasure. I know you're a busy man. I know you don't barely get any sleep from being on radio. And I heard you got a new motorcycle.
I sure did. I sure did. I love it. I love it. It's been a dream come true. I've wanted one for many, many years.
Yeah, my
good
goodness.
Things are happening. Good things are happening.
There's good things ahead for you, my friend. And people are saying to me, right, I'm getting some stuff right now on the internet. Who is this John F. Kennedy Jr.? Is he the real thing? But come on. No, folks. John, I'm going to call you John. That's your real name, but you go by another name, which you have to, I guess. I don't know how that works, but which would you like me to call you, David or John? Which would you feel comfortable with?
I prefer John. When I go to the doctor's office and everything, I have to go by the name that the government gave me, which is David Keith Quigley, and it really hurts my heart. Being called David because my mom Jackie and my father gave me the name, after my father's name, and it was stolen from me. My whole fight for justice is for my family and my name back.
Yes, I understand that. And it saddens me that the story about how it all came to be, of course. I'm a great, big Kennedy fan, Jack Kennedy, and your father's and your mother, of course. Oh, what a classy lady. My goodness gracious, man. She brought so much class to that White House out of all those years. Your mother, Jacqueline Kennedy. Yes. She did that. She designed and she remodeled that. Oh, unbelievable. Folks, if you know history and how history works, read up about Jacqueline Kennedy, all about her. And of course, you of us have, of course. Now, Onassis apparently passed away, I believe, in 1975 at the age of 69 years old. Did you attend that funeral yourself?
I actually did a few days after the funeral, but I'm a personal eyewitness to his murder, a personal eyewitness to my mother Jackie's murder also.
Before we get into that, let's start out with you. All right. Number one, your father passed away when you were 3 years old, 1963, because my birthday is November 24th. And that was a very sad day. I don't know if a lot of you folks maybe Protestant or Catholic, what have you, but even the Protestants had the picture of the Kennedy in their house along with their pastor or their pope or whatever. That was just a done deal. You'd walk into homes, you'd see that. It's a normal thing. Today they don't do it today for some reason. I have no idea. But okay. So you're 3 years old. The 25th your birthday. You had a birthday party at the White House. They threw something for you. Not knowing what's going on, you had no idea. People were wearing black. You're just a child. What happened after that? Where did you get switched out? Where did they take you? How long did you stay with Jackie until something else, the switch happened to this other guy, this other person that says it's John F. Kennedy?
Well, when I was 3 and my father was assassinated, it was all new to me. The fact of death, I didn't really understand it. At that time, that dead was dead. I really didn't get it. But your other question, my mom remarried Aristotle Onassis, a Greek billionaire. And I spent a lot of time on the island being hid out. I was always constantly on the move. All around the world, being taught by famous artists all around the world, movie stars. I was in several Hollywood films and TV shows, from 1 Adam 12 to Emergency, Green Acres, many shows. My 3 sons. I was in a movie with Doris Day. With 6, you get an egg roll. And my identity was then Richard Steele. Well, they simply stole my identity and gave it to another actor named Richard Steele. It was all planned.
Yeah.
But if you look at childhood photos of me in the White House and then compare them to Richard Steele and the Hollywood actor at that time, you can tell it's all me. But yeah, when I was about 10 years old, I was with Aristotle Onassis and Jackie, and the John Kennedy Jr. the whole world knew was my stepbrother. He was actually Aristotle Onassis' son through his mistress Maria Colas. They secretly had a child, and they were organized crime. They were mafia.
Wow.
And they, the mafia is all about blood in, blood out. So they wanted their child to have the good life, and they simply replaced me with him, and the whole world didn't notice. Look at all the childhood photos of me. There's hundreds and hundreds of videos and clips of me in the White House up to the age of 10. They are all 100% me. The replacement was in front of the whole world to see, and the world didn't catch it. But yeah, that was all done when I was on Aristotle Onassis' island around the age of 10.
My goodness. So between the 3 and 10 years old, some transition took place. And do you remember where you were at that time until you got older? And when did you decide to come out and say, "Hey, this is who I am"?
Yeah, I was basically. I was on the go and moving around, being protected. I was on Aristotle's yacht for a very long time. Aristotle had a beautiful yacht where all the Hollywood movie stars would come, and I wasn't even allowed to put my head over the deck because they were afraid that I would be assassinated.
Wow. Yeah. Have you had many threats on your life?
Oh, many attempts on my life, yes. My life is in danger right now because I am exposing the biggest crime ring this world has ever seen. It's called the United States government.
All right, with that, which we've heard many, many stories about the government, of course. Doubles. Did Jackie have a double?
Yes, she did.
Right.
And I believe she had 2 of them. But in 1975, she was totally replaced. But after 1975, the Jackie Kennedy, the whole world knew that Jackie Kennedy with Bill Clinton and on and on and on was a 100% lookalike fake. It was all put in place just to steal all the Kennedy fortunes. My sister Caroline was a fake. And of course, the George that the whole world knew that replaced me was also a fake. Those three people that were using identity theft of my family and my loved ones, they profited millions and millions of dollars.
Well, with that, okay, all right. Did you have a double yourself? Did they use another child along with you? And then, of course, this other guy, your stepbrother. Did you have a double?
If I did, I wasn't. I didn't know it. I knew John that stole my identity. Government agents told me he was my brother. Huh. They told me from when I was 10 that he was my brother, but I didn't believe him.
Well, who kept you during these years? Who kept you and took care of you, nursed you?
Many people, but my traffic handlers were the Quigley family. There's so many scenarios, but basically at a young age, the Secret Service, they don't advertise what they do, but they do many sneaky things, and a lot of it is to keep people alive. But yes, the Quigley family, the name that they gave me, David Keith Quigley.
So I
was put in with the Quigleys, and then from the Quigley family, taken around here and there. I very seldom saw my real mother.
So you're in a witness type of protection program. And
exactly. I was told back then, when I was real young, there was nothing I could do. They told me organized crime had taken over. They told me organized crime was so powerful, if I decided to come out, I would be killed 100%. To come out was years ago. I was with my friend Brenda, who I believe was the real Princess Diana. And we were talking. I was like, I'm coming out. I was in very poor health. I didn't think I was going to live much longer. And I remembered, everybody saying if I come out, I will be assassinated. But it was like, the world needs to know my story, whether I am killed or not. They need to know. They need to know what's been going on in our government. We have a fake government. It is totally in control by organized crime. So yeah, it was. I was willing to die to get this story out. I don't want to die, but I'm putting my life on the line.
Of course, Sean.
Like we said, many attempts on my life. I had a bullet graze my cheek just working in my front yard in the 80s. I had been poisoned. Many attempts on my life that were spoiled and failed.
Where do you in your book? I don't mean to interrupt you, but in your book, where do you think the highlights in your book are that really explain the nuts, the gritty get of the whole thing, and where you're at today?
The book is very small. There's not enough room to put it in the book. There's many stories I have that aren't in the book, but
you have a second book coming out?
I don't. The book just gives people the basic understanding of what happened, and there's many scenarios that aren't actually in it. Jackie Goldman actually wrote the book, and we did it over video chat over about a year, doing internet conversations back and forth, and so it got translated through her. But she did a wonderful job. But there's a lot that's not in there.
The questions come up on the board here. What does Bobby Kennedy Jr. think?
I have contacted him many times. It's what I believe. I believe he has been murdered and replaced already, or he is a sellout to organized crime. I believe that. I tried to get a hold of him many times with many of my other loved ones that could be alive. But in 1975, I believed all my loved ones had already been assassinated by government. And so he's coming out. I tried to get a hold of him.
You'd still have a sister, and Caroline,
right.
I believe it to be her. I really do. I've heard that she's also been replaced. Well, you know what you hear in conspiracies, but we're talking about, actually, we're going to talk about you. I don't mean to bring all this other stuff up, but since that
was hard to be. My sister was really hard, but if you Google Martha Moxley murder, the government actually switched the two children. My sister Caroline was murdered. They simply put Martha Moxley in place, but you can look at photos of Jackie and my sister and then compare them to the Martha Moxley murder. But the Caroline we have to this very day, the ambassador to Japan and then the ambassador to Australia, is 100% fake, not a Kennedy. She was replaced by organized crime in 1975. And it's huge because nothing is being done. They're not being questioned because organized crime is so huge. But I lost my real sister in 1975 or before.
Interesting. So, okay, where have you been? I mean, since now the book's been out, what, a couple years now?
No. It came out at the end of November.
Okay. So let's look at the kind of a time frame. You've been quiet all these years, or have you been quiet? I mean, I'm sure that you've wanted to express who you were. And who was the first person you told and that believes the story?
Actually,
help me out with that.
Actually, the first person I told was my friend Brenda. And I told her I was coming out. And I believe she was the real Princess Diana. I met the real Princess Diana when I was a child. Her family had been murdered. The Princess Diana, the whole world knew, the pretty blonde, was actually a replacement, just like everybody else in the crime syndicate. But I told Brenda, she passed away a couple months later. She came over to my house one day crying. I basically took a picture of her, and she died 2 weeks after the picture was taken.
My goodness.
But I believe Brenda was the real Princess Diana and switched out just like I was.
And how did she get here from England? How did she find her way to you?
Actually, there's a photo that I reposted on TikTok, and it's also in the book. But President Eisenhower was at an orphanage with his wife, Jackie Kennedy, my mom, my sister, and myself. We were at an orphanage. They were doing a photo op at that orphanage, and that is where they get their children for trafficking. And my friend Brenda, Princess Diana, was actually there. Yeah, the cover-ups are huge.
Well, you're not preferring that Jackie Kennedy was involved in any type of child. No, I'm sure.
No. My real mother, Jackie, was trying to keep her alive and protect her. Her maid actually brought her to the orphanage. She didn't know what to do because the real Princess Diana's mother and father were killed. And Jackie was trying to help. I talked with my mom, and I remember even when I was a young child saying, we got to help this girl. Yeah. So we flew back with Brenda, and I believe that she was put in a foster home in Phoenix, but trying to save that child's life.
My goodness. Okay. We're going to take a break real fast, and we'll be right back, everybody. Please stay tuned. Got more to come, tell you for sure. Stand by, everybody. We're back after this.
There's no typical meth user. I was from an upper middle class family. Meth is terribly addictive. My first time using it, I was hooked. There was no turning back. I lost my job and I was homeless. I never thought I'd see my family again. I have a great fear of meth because it took so much of me. I mean, it took everything. Meth took over my soul.
Visit our website at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
Violence, theft, drugs, graffiti. It's all part of joining a gang. In times like these, we need to protect our children and our community from gangs. Gangs often prey on unsupervised teens with low self-esteem, who perform poorly in school, who seek a sense of belonging, or are simply bored. Joining a gang often involves violent hazing rituals. Once in a gang, members can become alienated from their families, school, and friends. Drugs, guns, and malicious activity are common elements in gangs. Trying to leave a gang can be a difficult and dangerous process. The best way to get out of a gang is never to join one. Protect kids from being recruited by a gang. Know who they're hanging out with. Involve kids in after-school activities and provide positive role models. Help reduce gang activities in your community by working with local law enforcement and school systems. Don't let a kid you know get involved with gangs. Visit ncpc.org to learn more or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
And we are back, everybody. I want to say hello to my friends out there. Of course, thank you for tuning in, everybody, tonight. Appreciate that. A lot of YouTubers out there, a lot of Facebook. Looks like Canada. I got lots of folks over there. I'm looking at Montana, Great Falls, Reno, Nevada, Memphis, Tennessee, Provo, Utah's come up tonight. Of course, we have Thunder Bay. Oh, you guys are so good to us. Yeah, Olympia, Washington, Tacoma, Seattle, and we have Portland over there. Oklahoma City. Hello, everybody. And say hello to Tim over in Elko and Joyce and Lacey. Dave in Tumwater. And, of course, hi to all my friends in Fairbanks, Alaska. Oh, yeah. Love you very much and appreciate you listening to the K-Ghost Radio, UFO Talk Radio, the Glenn Larry Show, and it's been a lot of fun doing that stuff, I'll tell you for sure. All right, and my folks, don't forget about Creekside Diner. Okay, it's 717 West Baltimore Pike, I believe, in Kensington Square in Pennsylvania. Karen, my buddy, she's been so good to the station, and we've been good to her, I'll tell you for sure. She's great food, great time, great lunches. Support her. She supports all the EMS and the fire and police and everybody, and K-Ghost Radio, by the way. We thank you. And we do want to thank Dee and Ken over there in Florida. He had found himself an old VHS, believe it or not, a camera, recorder camera, slaps right in the tape in the side, you know. They're hard to find now. They weren't years ago, but now they are. And it's brand new. Guess what I have? A player, and I have brand new tapes. So I'm going to have some fun with that. Yeah, they send me all sorts of crazy stuff. I love them both. Great. They have a pet alligator. Man, I'm not feeding that. And old Randy came and visited him. I understand he wouldn't get out of the truck. I'm just joking. Maybe he did. I wouldn't have, though. Again, we do thank you for tuning in, everybody. And on the line, we're talking about John F. Kennedy Jr. and the real McCoy. And he's got some more stories. We're going to open the lines up here at the bottom of the hour. So stay tuned. Johnny, with me, my friend.
I sure am, Larry.
We thank you so much for getting on the show and talking about your book. I know you're very, very busy, man. And on this side here, I'm looking at some of the comments, which I try to keep up with, but I got so much going on in the station, all these buttons pushing, how it goes. Yeah. Have you seen any of your family at all lately? That's one of the questions. And if you did see Bobby Kennedy Jr., what would you say to him?
Well, I tried to get a hold of many of my loved ones just to see if they were real or not. My mother's sister Lee, I had a conversation with her on Twitter quite a few years back, and the response I got was typical from these people that have been replaced my loved ones already. It was get some help is what her response to me was, mentally or however. But then a week later, she was dead. The crime ring is huge. But I actually tried to get a hold. I tried to get a hold of Bobby in from his law office to his campaign office, many places. I had somebody message me that was pretending to be him with his name and his profile, and his comment to me was, "Prove it, asshole."
Wow, that's pretty heavy duty.
If he was my real family member, I think that he would have at least reached out a little bit to see if my story had
I agree with you. It was probably somebody else, but I would be thinking that he would get a hold of you privately and approach you privately. I'm very upset with the current president not giving him protection of all people should have, Secret Service protection.
Right. I have reached out with hundreds and hundreds of messages. I think my messages are being intercepted by the CIA or somebody with that technology to intercept my messages. But I have sent probably thousands. I've sent hundreds to the White House, hundreds to all the news agencies, and loved ones that might still be themselves and not victims to identity theft. But I don't get any response from any of them. So I'm trying, and I thank you for letting me be on here and share my story with your listeners, because that's what it's all about in my life, is to get the truth out to the world.
Yeah, I hear you. I have a picture of you up on the television side here, and stolen identity, folks. And if you can see that picture, look very close. Looks a lot like his dad. The nose is unbelievable. I'm going to show you a picture of him when he was a little boy. There he is sitting there, and he looked very close, very much alike, And I'm going to show you a picture of Jack. If he was alive today, what he would look like. You can see right there, what he would look like. Unbelievable. Genes are genes, as I will say. Then you have this picture. That's when you're about maybe 9, 10, yeah, and still have the image. And then we hop over to John F. Kennedy, the so-called John F. Kennedy. Now, doesn't kind of match up. The nose is different, the whole bit. And the earlobes, interesting. Yeah. What can I say?
Yeah, I have had actually two experts that could do ear comparisons, and they have said that ears are 100% like a fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
And these two different experts have said, I am 98% that child in those photos. And John, that replaced me is nowhere close. The ears are way different.
Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, I get it. We're going to open the lines up, everybody. And if you want to ask John F. Kennedy Jr., some questions, you may do so.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Pahrump lines are open at 775-990-8275. That's 775-990-8275. To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Now, here again, Glenn Larry.
And I am back, and the phones are ringing crazy. Stand by. We'll get to the line. Hello, caller. Where you from? What's your name? And what would you like to ask John F. Kennedy Jr.?
This is Ken from Florida.
Hello, Ken. Go ahead. You're live.
And I'd just like to say hi to him. I knew of his dad. His dad was a president when I was in high school. He was assassinated when I was in the 11th grade.
Wow.
And by the time I got out of 12th, they drafted everybody for the Vietnam War in my room. Everybody. But I'd just like to say hi to him, and it's a pleasure to know this that I didn't know.
Yeah. Ask him a question, Ken. Go ahead. He's open to it.
Do you live a good life? I mean, that you don't have to look over your back?
John?
I've always had to look over my back. I spent my whole life trying to be under the radar. It's nice to talk to you, Ken, as well.
Well, I just think it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I had things happen to me in my life, and Larry knows more about it than a lot of people, but I just had to say hi to you, and I'd want to give everybody out there in Radio Land a chance to say hi to you, because it's a pleasure to learn what I didn't know. Well, and I will get that book.
Good.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, you have a good one. Stay safe.
Hey, Ken, if you get the book, and I'm going to have him in the station up here, we'll get it autographed for you, okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye-bye now. God bless.
Bye.
Great people. Yeah. Okay, callers, get the number out again. Here we go.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Now, here again, Glenn Larry.
All right. I see that the prompt lines, for some reason, are skipping to the other line, so that's all right. I guess it'll come through. Give us a call. Go ahead and talk with John F. Kennedy Jr. and ask some questions. Now, his book's out there for sale. I'm just not a big pitch, but it's the interesting story, what happened, how it happened, and you decide. That's what I put up. Do you believe? Well, or not? I'm happen to be a believer. So, it's up to you. And on my show, I have conspiracies, UFOs, ghosts, all sorts of stuff, Bigfoot, we name it. But we try to keep the shows interesting. And this came across my desk and over my internet media stuff. I was saying to myself, wow, yeah, why not? And then I did some research on you, John, by the way. And I was just fascinated. And, it's kind of hard to stay under the covers, have the bonnet or the hood over your head and peek out and say, this is who I really am. This is my story. Are you going to believe me? Or I just pull the hood down. I get it. I understand that because of my life and who I have in my life. So I understand that. And was it hard for you to come out and say, hey, I want you to all to know now. I'm tired of not saying anything. What made you really come out and express who you are?
There's many factors, but I was in poor health. I didn't think I was gonna live much longer, and I wanted the world to know what I have had to live through. And I had lived in poverty. I was getting my food from the food bank, and I was kicking a can down the road saying, I'm John Kennedy Jr. Why am I having to live this life?
Yeah.
I spent my whole life as a truck driver and living in a truck for 25 years. My address was in a truck, 18-wheeler, and it was time. I truthfully believed I would be killed if I shared my story, but I didn't know it would be this hard to get out, being hindered over and over again from getting my truth out. I thought the government would help me. I believed the FBI would help me, and our other agencies would come to my side as the son of our former president, because they know the truth. But there's so much that they don't want of my story out that exposes the criminals in our government, and it's huge.
Do you know them by name?
Really
I mean, I'm not going to ask you, but you know them by name? Do you happen to know any of them that are behind the scenes? These criminals behind the scenes that have done this to you, and do you have any?
Oh yeah, they're all Nancy Pelosi. There's so many.
That's a
Donald
big one.
Trump.
That's a big one.
Donald Trump, and many politicians that know my story. Bobby Kennedy, my so-called cousin. Donald Trump, my so-called cousin.
Wow.
It's a huge,
for my listeners out there, explain the connection of Donald Trump in your family line. I don't get that.
Well, I was always told Donald Trump was my family member. Even as a young kid, Donald Trump was my family. So when organized crime killed the real Donald Trump in 1989 in his helicopter crash, it was all covered up by the media. First, the media said Donald Trump was on that helicopter. Then they changed it. But Donald Trump was on that helicopter. Hollywood already had his body double in place. It's pre-planned. But yeah, when Donald Trump met his demise on that helicopter in 1989, they simply replaced him with a Hollywood actor.
And all that money, all those decisions are made. That
one helicopter crash made organized crime billions of dollars, but they didn't stop. After that, they sold off all my family's possessions at auction at Trump Tower, Sotheby's auction house. The connection with them all is so huge, and it's one big crime ring. And I know that Donald Trump supporters are gonna, come after me for sharing the truth, but it's my truth. It's my story.
This is your story. This is your time to talk, and I'm going with it. With Onassis. Now, let me ask you: do you have anything that belonged to him at one time? From him at all, from their estate? Do you have anything?
I have a couple things. I have one of the oldest coin dies in the world that was actually made from a meteoroid. I have the urn that his mother was placed in, her ashes. I believe it is an ancient crown over a couple thousand years old. I've shared it in videos. I have a couple things that were left to me to remember my truthful stories, and but not enough, just bits and pieces.
Do you have anything from childhood at all when you were a little kid?
That crown, it's unbelievable. It should be in a museum. I was homeless in California years ago. I actually dug a hole in the ground, wrapped it in plastic bags, and buried it so I would keep it protected. But that's a big one. That's a big artifact right there.
So you've had quite a rough life. You've survived. And what are you doing now?
I actually just got approved for my disability. I sent my congressman a book, and I have a team of lions on the internet that are helping me expose my story. But
good.
I was just approved last week for my disability that I've been trying to get for like 10 years.
Good.
It's hard for me to have a job anywhere because my life is in danger, and I don't like admitting that I am ill. And because
who does?
I believe in faith heals.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
It's hard for me to talk about my illnesses and stuff. But I just finally got disability, but I had lived in poverty for years.
Okay, so now I understand you make some jewelry on the side. I've heard this, that you've done, you're quite the creator in arts too.
I like, I was taught by Marc Chagall and Pablo Picasso. I have a few. I've always loved art and tinkering with things, but yeah, I wouldn't be no jeweler. I've never had the training for that, but I like messing around with things.
Keep yourself busy, the type of thing. And you got that new bike now. You can take some rides and stuff. What are your goals on a trip? I heard that you were going to do some type of campaigning or some type of.
I just threw it out there last week. I just got the motorbike on Sunday, and I just put it out there. But I want to plan a run, and I want to get the world involved. I want to place my book on my father's grave that I haven't been able to visit because the media doesn't want this out. The news agencies don't want this out. So I wanted to see if I could rally in the future thousands of people to follow me. End up on the East Coast, from the West Coast here to the East Coast,
right,
where they can have their cell phones and videotape me actually placing my book on my father's grave. I want to give one to the JFK Library.
Yes. Let's get in all the libraries.
Get the word out. It's all about getting the truth out. That's what my life is all about, is exposing these people and getting the truth out.
Yes. Well, imagine, unbelievable. And you have a great story. I'll tell you, folks, this is getting a lot of attention. Student identity. This story and this man, John F. Kennedy Jr., you need to look into it and make your own mind up, your own decision. But kind of unbelievable evidence in this book, I'll tell you for sure. John, how can they get a hold of the book? How do, number one, let's just do this. Give me a place where they can get the book at, okay? And where they can get a hold of you and maybe send you some funds or something like that to help this thing progress. Go ahead.
My book is on Amazon. I didn't have any control, but it's on Amazon. You can search up "Stolen Identity: Unveiling the Real John Kennedy Jr." And if you're boycotting Amazon or whatever, it's available on Barnes and Nobles, not in the stores yet. It just came out the end of November, so we're still trying to, get it rolling and everything. But yeah, that's so much appreciated.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, now where can they send? Do you have a GoFundMe page or anything like that? Or
I started a PO box. I didn't want to use my regular address, so on Facebook and TikTok at the top is the PO box.
Okay, and where can they go on other sites to see your videos and what have you that have not been taken down, that are safe for them to go to, like maybe YouTube? What would they look for if they were going to search for you?
Actually, on TikTok, I'm using my real name, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., all Beautiful. Spelled out on TikTok. I have been blessed with over 40,000 followers on there. And on Facebook, it's simply David Quigley. But if your listeners want to write me, I'll try to return their letter. It's Post Office Box 21552, and that's Bullhead City, Arizona 86439. And even if you want to write a letter and say, "Hey, I just wanted to write John Kennedy Jr.," I will try to write back.
Okay, give that number address out one more time, and real slowly, folks. Listen carefully. Write it down. Get your pen and pencil. Go ahead.
It's Post Office Box 21552, and that is Bullhead City, Arizona 86439.
I'm going to open the lines up again. We're taking callers. Come on, it's your chance,
To
folks.
talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada. Lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Pahrump lines are open at 775-990-8275. That's 775-990-8275. Now, back with Glenn Larry on UFO Talk Radio, deep in the desert of Nevada.
And I am back. Thank you so very much. And I have John F. Kennedy Jr., John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. on the line. I could not get him on. We tried, didn't we, buddy? On Messenger, they wouldn't let us do it for some reason. I have no idea. I've got 4 different pages out there, and we just couldn't get it to come up. Where is Steve when I need him? This is my tech guy back in college doing something, probably teaching. I wish he would have taught me, but no, we'll get him up. We got another caller coming in. Stand by. Hello, caller. Where are you from? What's your name? And you'd like to talk to Mr. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. Hello?
Yeah, this is Jared from out here in Las Vegas.
Hello, Jared, and welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got the, I got to the show late there, Glenn, but I did want to ask Mr. Kennedy there. I remember hearing that there was a lot of a QAnon chatter about John F. K. Jr. showing back up again. Does he have any comments on that, or and I think people were assuming that would be the little John who supposedly died in that airplane crash. But do you have any comments on that? Because I remember hearing there was a lot of QAnon chatter about that.
John?
Well, actually, my last name is Quigley, and that's, I believe, where they got the Q from. But I started sharing this about 8 years ago on Facebook. I was hacked. I was blocked, shadow banned. And I believe they started the Q movement because I was sharing my story, trying to get it out. A lot of stories about him coming back to life, my stepbrother coming back to life. It's all bogus. All the way to Mount Rushmore. They got in Donald Trump's helicopter, and David Strait and Donald Trump Jr., I guess, went and, did a big publicity thing with so-called John, the world knew, on top of Mount Rushmore. But it's all bogus. It's all made up. Don't believe it. He ain't coming back. He is gone. But I don't know.
I was wondering if that had any connection to you, if they kind of blurred the lines between John and yourself.
Right, I believe that 100%. Yeah,
that's you. You've come back. You're back. Now they can't. You're the real thing. That's what you're saying.
I mean, because the QAnon is as far as look, I'm not a studier. I know about QAnon, but there's some people that it's a big rabbit hole. You can get involved in that, but I do know somebody who's involved with it, and it's a lot of it is cloak and dagger. A lot of symbolic things that are written. It's not written in plain English. You kind of got to decipher it. That's what I understand. So, and then the QAnon, whoever started it, they don't even know who that is.
I believe it was Donald Trump Jr. But there's a lot of deception that goes on there. They don't just come out and tell you the truth. I speak the truth. I answer questions to the best of my ability. No shadowing anything. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm just putting it out there. But I don't know what their real goal is besides deceiving people.
I mean, when you had said that Trump was replaced in the 80s, I mean, at that time he really wasn't a political figure as today. He heck, I think back in the day he was more a supporter of the Democratic Party than the Republican.
Exactly. Yeah, they used him. They're using him to this very day. The organized crime got Donald Trump in their pocket big time.
And when you say organized crime, is this a global organized? Is it more of a centralized in the United States, or is it a global, or is it? Do you have Russia involved, or what's the deal when you say organized crime?
Yeah, it's global, and the Russian connection scares me. It should scare a lot of people on this identity theft and where it actually originates from. and the superpowers. It's got my mind thinking, a lot. But yeah, it's huge. It's global. It goes from England to Canada and Australia, Ireland, all around the planet.
Greece also. Greece, yeah. Was your
So, I mean, is there any in your mind? Is there anybody in politics now that can be trusted?
I don't think so. I really, really don't. I was asking my followers to send a book to the Congress and the Senate and expose my truth and just see who's willing to expose my truth to the world and who's not. But it's huge. They organized crime's got everybody in their pocket. It's very concerning to me. Very concerning.
I mean, when you say everybody in their pocket, so everybody is they're getting something, they're getting paid, they're getting, is it a financial rat?
Yeah, either that or through, strong arm tactics. What I've seen in my life, all the way to Nancy Pelosi and every other thing that, even the Bobby Kennedy, the whole world knows, touching his nose, that John Kennedy Jr. is still alive, that the corruption runs deep. They put people in place who they want in place.
Huh. Interesting. So the touching.
So you're saying the whole system is broken.
The whole system is broke. We need it fixed for the American people. They got it right now where America's not going to get any better for we the people and the people around the world. We need to change that. We need to put people in place and get rid of the corruption and start making it better for the Americans.
That I agree.
I mean, but how do you recommend that for the average Joe to make the changes that need to be changed? I mean, does it start with your local government, and your city government, and just kind of work your way up?
What I'm trying to do is share my life experiences, and people use me as an example that, hey, if this could happen to the son of our former assassinated president, it can happen to anybody. I'm urging people to use my story so people wake up. Trying to share it. United we stand, and divided we are falling. So the more people that know my truthful story, that of the corruption that's going on, the stronger we will get, and how we can make change in the long run. But it's so hard to get the truth out. We aim as the United States government. The media has been taken over and controlled on what you can say and what you can't, and
freedom of speech is being taken away. Yes.
People.
Let me finish with one last question before I go, Mr. Kennedy. So, are you advocating the only way to get out of this is basically a hostile civil war?
No. Not at all.
Wow, that's heavy.
I am advocating we get people to wake up to the truth that there's organized crime in running our country.
If everybody's involved, involved and everybody's on the take.
But not everybody. I'm talking politicians. I'm talking we the people are huge. We outnumber them 100,000 to 1. And if they can wake up, we can simply go to Washington and ask them to resign their position.
Well, they control the military. They control the police. So it's
there's commanders in the military. I was in the military, and there's commanders that I was always told, but they don't really control the military. They might think they do, but they're all separate organizations. But we need a real commander-in-chief. People that they are putting in place now have no experience whatsoever in leading this country to prosper.
Well, you got some interesting points there, Mr. Kennedy. I appreciate you letting me call Glenn.
Thank you very
y'all
much.
Have a good night.
We thank you kindly,
Thank
caller.
you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for thank you for listening. There you have it. We're coming to the top of an hour. Show's almost over with. I can have time for one more call. One more call, folks. And I'm gonna put this up here really fast. Taking calls. There we go. All right. And hey, on a critical thinking here, the last caller had his stuff together. You know, and yes, it's all about thought, thinking. On live radio, I'll tell you by experience, sometimes you come up with some stuff you don't want to talk about, or you're just off on left field and you're trying to stay on the subject, what's going on. And we're doing real good tonight with that. And I thank you, John, for doing that with me also. I know you get some whacked out questions, oh God, here comes it. And you've answered so many in your lifetime. So many of you've answered of just over the same old thing. And we do thank you so much for coming on the show, because this means a lot to me. You have no idea. And I hope that your book does very well. I hope that your message gets through to people. And I hope that folks pick up that book, read that book, and support you. I really do. With that, coming on top of the hour, I want to thank you for being on the show. And I hope that I can have you on again. Hope we can have you in the studio, since you kind of live not close, but get you over here if you can. Again, John, thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And it would be my pleasure to be on your show again and to show up at your studio.
Fantastic. Calling you soon, very soon. It's kind of late for you where you're at now. It's probably 10 o'clock there. Yeah.
It's actually 8.
8. Okay, good. We're in the same time zone. That's a good thing. I'll be calling you a little later. Thank you kindly, my friend. Be well, be safe, and may God be with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and thank all your listeners. Much appreciated.
Quite the guy, I'll tell you. Interesting, huh? This is what this show's all about. I try to make the show as interesting as possible. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has their own thoughts, their own belief systems. This is fine. This is how the show rolls. And I'm going to try to have some more special guests coming your way real soon on the station. Do like me. Do subscribe to the channel. Ring the little bell so you know we're going to be on. We're doing the same thing on the Facebook pages also. And what's happening with the websites, it's been kind of crazy. We're taking some down. Rebuilding. And I'm going to have some special stuff come up on those websites too. I do have some strange guy saying he's K-Ghost Radio, which he's not. We're only K-Ghost Radio, by the way. So you'll see a thing that says on Spotify. It's not us, it's somebody else. So we're taking care of that. That's being done. But I want to thank you for tuning into Facebook and to all the, Larry Glenn Anderson, all the stations that we have in the podcast out there. We do thank them for supporting us too, those little broadcasters, little powered broadcasters out there that are affiliates. We thank them kindly, by the way. I hope I talked about the Pioneer Saloon before we get off the air. Don't forget about them down here in beautiful downtown Good Springs. I was just down there today and had pizza. Met a bunch of my friends down there. Get a chance, stop by, say hello. Hey, I'm a fan of the show, man. I'll say hello to you. And they got ghosts down there too. Not only in the drinks, but they're around. Tell you for sure. And check out Old Man Liver. That's pretty good stuff. He's a good man. He comes in there. But check out the Pioneer Saloon. I know they have bands on Fridays and Saturdays and karaoke on Friday nights. And it's a cool place. If you come through Good Springs to Las Vegas, make sure you stop at the Pioneer Saloon. Take a tour around the town. Look and see what Good Springs is all about. It's all about Good Springs. We try to be good people, by the way. We really do. Again, thank you so very much. I'm Glenn Larry. Thank you for being with me. And we will see you next Tuesday night with another special show. Be well, play nice, and love each other.